If you're planning to visit Lapland UK and you're considering upgrading to the VIP Golden Experience, this video shares our honest experience about visiting with an autistic child. What gifts do you actually receive, and what is it like having your own guide for the whole day? Does it make the day more accessible for SEN children? How did the private check-in and private dining experience feel from an accessibility and sensory point of view? And most importantly, we'll share how much we paid for the Golden Experience and share our honest judgment on whether we felt it was worth the cost. Prior to our Golden Experience visit to Lapland UK, we've received this beautiful Christmas Eve box in the post. We've also received honorary elf hats. We were supposed to receive these beautiful badges in the Christmas Eve box as well, but there was some delay and we've received them a couple of days later in the post. As part of the Golden Experience, you were supposed to receive an upgraded invitation with a gorgeous golden whisper leaf, but unfortunately I can't show you that because we haven't received that. Sometimes there are some glitches with the experience, so we were given another invitation pack during our visit, but they couldn't find the golden whisper leaf there either. So this is our second year doing the Golden Experience, and this is our second year of not receiving the golden whisper leaf. But what we did receive was this green whisper leaf instead, and what we did is we've printed our QR code and placed it on the whisper leaf because Emma likes to scan tickets and she's very excited, and we've placed it on this lanyard. Unfortunately, not everyone received their Christmas Eve boxes with the hats, but if you mention it to your personal guide on the day, then they should be able to provide these during the private check-in experience. And there was some confusion about the hats. You're supposed to receive a hat for each member of your party. So if you haven't received it in the post prior to your visit and the guide only provided to the children, then politely mention that every member of the party is supposed to receive this, and they should be able to rectify this. You should also be receiving these personalized letters with the hat. If your child can read, it might be worth to hide the personalized letter until you get the badges, because there's a reference to the badges in the letter. As I mentioned before, we didn't receive the golden whisper leaf and they were unable to rectify this on the day of the visit, but they did give us this beautiful pin badge, and this is a lot bigger than the one that comes with the hat. And this one actually says on the back that it was 8 jingles, and our guide was kind enough to provide us with this Cone Day badge. So this one you were supposed to receive if your child have a birthday on or around the time of your visit. Emma's birthday is in March, and we did tell the guide this, but she said don't worry about it, just put it away and keep it for her birthday. We also received the Golden Explorer badges. These are proper pin badges as well. Last year we just got some stickers instead of the badges, and you are supposed to receive badges for each member of your party as well, not just for your child. And that's not all. There's still a bunch of presents that we got as part of the Golden Experience. During your visit to Father Christmas, he's supposed to give you this beautiful 2025 Lapland bobo. Unfortunately, there are some inconsistencies with Lapland UK, and you need to advocate for yourself. So if you visit Father Christmas and by the end of the Father Christmas visit you haven't received this bobo, then you need to politely mention it to the elf that you were supposed to receive this present as part of the Golden Experience. Also, Emma has a new baby cousin, and we mentioned this on the portal, and Father Christmas was kind enough to give this beautiful rattle. So we can take this to Emma's baby cousin when we visit them for Christmas. And the last big present that you're supposed to receive with the Golden Experience is this book set. And this one, at least one of the books, should be signed by the creators. The book set should contain one blue and one red book, and one of the books should be signed by the creators. And there's some confusion as well about the book sets. As I mentioned earlier, there are some inconsistencies with Lapland UK and the Golden Experience. So some people received a little book instead, which this year was Concourse, last year was Wish, maybe. Last year we received both the small book and the big book set. I actually asked the guide about the book set situation, and she told us that they usually give the double book set out when you do your Golden Experience for the first time. And on subsequent visits, they just give you a smaller book. So this year we were supposed to receive the smaller book instead, but our guide was kind enough to give us the book set again. As I mentioned it to her, that last year we gave the book set away to someone because Emma had no interest in it and she was completely nonverbal last year. She still has very limited speech, but she is interested in books now. So we are very happy to receive this book set again. But if this is your first visit and you're only given the little book at the end, then again, you need to speak up for yourself in a polite and respectful manner. It's very important to advocate for yourself. Even if this is not your first visit, you shouldn't be punished for subsequent Golden Experience visits. You're paying the same or more money than the previous years. So I would encourage you to speak up. Another great perk of the Golden Experience is that you have lots of professional photos taken during the day and you can have as many of them printed as you want. So they put one in this bigger case and the rest of the printed photos, they put them in these smaller ones. So we've got 5 other photos printed. And also a lesser known perk of the Golden Experience that your visit to Father Christmas is supposed to be recorded. But bear in mind that this recording will be available a couple of days, sometimes weeks later your visit. So don't panic if it's not there straight away. It should pop up eventually. We've stayed at the Legoland Hotel the night before our visit. If you want to see an accessibility and SEN review of the Legoland Hotel, then you can find a link in the description below. I would recommend going for a morning visit and staying in a nearby hotel the night before. Last year we've done this experience and we've had a 2 p.m. departure time and we were traveling from the Midlands to Lapland UK and back the same day, and unfortunately it ended in a meltdown. By the time we've got to the village, we've done a little bit of skating and we've had to leave because Emma's got really upset, and it wasn't anything in particular. She just got overwhelmed with the whole experience and the whole day. So we've skipped most of the village. We haven't been in the library, we haven't posted a letter. We skipped the reindeers. And when we went to see Father Christmas, unfortunately, she was still very upset. So she was crying on the Father Christmas videos as well. So I would definitely recommend making the transition as smooth as possible. And I would also recommend make a visual checklist so your child can help with the packing. And this is what we made for Emma. And she was really excited to find the items on the pictures. And as you can see, it's just her pajamas and clothes. She's got a new pair of boots for the visit. She's very excited to wear them tomorrow. Also her own food because she's got a really restricted diet, and her own water bottle because she's only drinking from that one bottle. And we normally take in her own plate and spoon because she doesn't like to eat from different plates. And the other bits are just her Lapland bits. So we've still got a bag of jingles left from last year. And not to worry, she's also got a toothbrush. It just didn't make it on the list. As you arrive to Lapland UK, there are parking attendants who will ask you for your departure time. And think you're only allowed to arrive 45 minutes to an hour before your visit, otherwise they might send you away. The parking attendant might send you to the regular car park. So again, it is important to advocate for yourself. Just politely mention that your family are Golden Explorers. Once they know you're a Golden Explorer, they will direct you to the front where there will be additional parking attendants and they should show you your dedicated parking space. As you walk inside, they scan your QR code in the back checking area, and that is where our guide was waiting for us. Our guide kindly introduced herself. Her name was Lisa. She was really nice and she straight away started interacting with Emma. Emma has very limited speech and she's not conversational. She can say some words and phrases and she can ask for some things, but during the visit she almost didn't say anything at all. But it wasn't an issue. Lisa was interacting with her beautifully. She spoke really nice and slowly to Emma. She made sure that Emma had some interaction with the actors as well, despite not communicating verbally. And as you go past the back check, you're led into the Elven Bazaar, which is an outside area. There's a shop where you can buy some hats and veggies, and there's a bakery where you can get some snacks and drinks, and there are loads of themed areas. As part of the Golden Experience, all food and drink during the day is included, so straight away you're offered a hot drink. and you're asked if you would like any food. I've got a really nice hot chocolate for myself, and I try to encourage Emma to try it, but she has a restricted diet, and we had to bring her snacks from home, and she's only willing to drink water. But Lisa was happy to help with this as well. So this one is a can of water. We still have it from the visit. It's just still water in it, and she's got a beautiful little cup for Emma. She gave us a few extra cups to bring home. She's normally drinking from these sippy top bottles, but she did have a go at trying an open cup. If you arrive very early, you might still need to stay outside in the Elven Bazaar. So I'm going to show you on this map. First is your Elven Bazaar, and once the time comes nearer, you're gonna go through pathway control. But because you're Golden Experience, as you enter the pathway control area, you go through a hidden passage with your guide, who is gonna take you to a private check-in area. It's a beautiful space, it's quiet and private, and it's away from the crowds. And this is where they give you these beautiful badges, and this is where the child receives their passports, and they can stamp their own passports. Lisa was really helpful with this as well. She was helping Emma stamp her passport. The private check-in is also a professional photo opportunity. There's a beautiful bench where you can sit down and they take some photos of you. As I mentioned before, these can later be printed at the end for no additional cost, and it's also going to be available digitally. Also, this is the point where we mentioned to Lisa that Emma has sensory issues, and we were worried about the noisy performances. LaplandUK can provide ear defenders if needed, and this is not just for the Golden Experience. Anyone can ask for this. And LaplandUK also does some sensory boxes for visually impaired children to make the experience more accessible for them. So once Emma's got the ear defenders, we left the private check-in area and joined the others in the pathway control lobby. This is the area where the regular ticket holders check in, but there's also a show going on in the middle, a theatric performance. It's lovely, but it's really loud and it's dark in there, and there's lots of different colored lights. So we've spent some time watching this performance, and just before the end of this performance, our guide took us to the next area, from the pathway control to Eco's Glade. I think each time slot has up to 2 Golden Experience families, one in the team Rudy and one in the team Husky. And Eco's Glade is split into a team Husky and a team Reindeer. When we entered this area through the hidden pathways, it was empty. You get a minute or two privately with the actors before the performance starts and before the other guests enter.
Are you well?
This is our Golden Explorer. And hi.
Look. This is the magical doorway. Should we try and open it?
And the actors try to interact with Emma. As part of the Golden Experience, you get front row seating for all the performances. I think that the first performance in Eco's Glade, it doesn't matter where you sit, there's actually better seats behind. So they've got these nice benches that has a back in the middle, and then you get these flat benches at the front. And actually most of the performance is around the middle of the room, not at the front. So we had to turn around and keep moving our necks, trying to see where the actors are. At the end of this performance, they opened the magical pathway to Lapland. A lot of the people make a run for the exit to try and secure better seats for the next performance. And unfortunately, there can be some pushing and shoving. And this is mostly from the adults, not from the children. So we've decided to stay behind, waited until our side of the room was empty, and we were last in the queue. There was some wait between the 2 performances, but it wasn't too bad. I read some reviews where the seats were not reserved for the Golden Experience guests. At some shows, the actors are reserving it, and sometimes they forget to do that. But we had a chat with Lisa prior to the experiences, and she made sure that she personally reserved the seats for us. That is why I mention it again, how important it is to advocate for yourself. The one thing with the toy factory, once you've finished building your teddy bear, you have to take the basket to the back of the room and place it on this conveyor belt to send it off to Father Christmas. Unfortunately, the experience is a little bit rushed. If you're the last person to put the teddy bear on the conveyor belt, chances are it's already stopped and the teddy bear stays there. As we went to put our teddy bear on the conveyor belt, I think it just stopped a couple seconds after. There was a bit of singing and dancing, and they went through this whole story of how the teddy bear was created and how it's put together. And then you have your own teddy bear disassembled in the basket, and there's supposed to be ears, the tail, a little heart and a fish to put inside. But again, if there are any bits missing, just mention it to someone and then they should be able to help you. And another important thing to mention, there are toilets literally everywhere. If you need to use the bathroom, just ask someone if you're not sure where it is, or you can just take this accessibility guide with you and just check on the map. So once you leave the toy factory, you're moving forward to the Lapland Bakery, and this is where Mother Christmas's kitchen is located. There's a theatrical performance, a bit of singing and dancing. The child will be given a gingerbread cookie to decorate, and a little bit of icing and some gummy buttons to put on. The lights were turned off pretty quickly and we didn't have time to finish decorating, so we just brought everything home. Once the Lapland Bakery is finished and you go into the village, our guide was waiting for us just by the entrance. There are some accessible toilets in there just as you enter the village, and there's a one that has hoist and everything. As you enter the village, the first thing you're gonna do is go to your private dining experience. So it's worth timing your visit to have the dining experience around lunch or tea time. We started around 10:30 in the morning, and the first half of the experience lasts around 90 minutes. So we've arrived at the village around 12 o'clock. There's no queuing for your experience. You go through a hidden door and there are some private rooms. Each room is for a different Golden Experience family. As you go inside, it looks like a wooden cabin. It's beautifully decorated. There's a Christmas tree, a bench, a large dining table, and there's, of course, another photo opportunity as well. When you enter this cabin, there should be a beautiful pouch on the table containing your child's 25 Lapland jingles, and their names should be spelled out. So as part of the Golden Experience, another perk that I haven't mentioned previously is that each child of your party is given 25 jingles in their own pouch, and you get these jingles in the private dining room, not during the private check-in. The first part of the experience can be really overwhelming for an SEN child. So this 1 hour private dining experience, chance to just settle down and regulate and have a nice meal. Emma has a very restricted diet. She was able to have some of the plain chips, but she wouldn't touch the pizza as it didn't look exactly like the one she's usually having at home, and she wouldn't try any other food or drink. Once we've ordered food and drinks from the menu, we've had an actor visiting us for a private meet and greet. He's had a lovely interaction with Emma. He was also part of the photos taken during the private dining. And again, we've had the opportunity to have a look at the photos on the little screen, and we've taken a few photos just to make sure we have one good one. Your personal guide will not stay inside the cabin with you while you eat. They give you some privacy, and during the day, there are many opportunities when they give you privacy, so they're not just sticking to you all day. They're there when needed, but they also give you some space to enjoy your family time. At the end of the time slot, Lisa came back and she took us back to the village. Once we got to the village, our guide briefly shown us around, and then she said she would be back in about an hour just to give us some family time. We went to the post office, and Lisa also got us some spare letter writing bits that we could bring home, and then we could help Emma and create a letter together when we have some more time and peace at home. We've popped into some of the shops, we've purchased some lovely bits, we've got a Lapland mug, We've got some nice pajamas for Emma that she's going to wear for Christmas Eve. We've got some sweets from the sweet shop. Emma doesn't really eat most of the sweets, but we've got some plain chocolate coins and she did try some of that. Once Lisa came back to find us, she made sure that Emma had some interaction with the actors in the village, and she was helping to bridge the communication barrier between Emma and the actors because, as I mentioned before, Emma's speech is very limited and it's not really functional. She can say some words on her own terms, but she doesn't have conversational speech. Lisa got us some sweets from the bakery, but I couldn't see anything plain in there, so there was no plain gingerbread or plain cookie or plain anything that we could give to Emma. And she wouldn't try anything with frosting or anything else on it. We got a marshmallow lolly for Emma. She really liked the rainbow sprinkles on it, but she refused to try it, but she was playing with it for some time. I think they should really have at least 1 or 2 plain options, like a plain gingerbread or just a plain cookie without anything in it or on it, as children with sensory needs can struggle with these foods. We've also popped into the library. It looked lovely. It seemed a bit small, but it was really cute. Emma had a little sit down on the one available chair, so there was 1 chair in the back and 1 little bench. Emma doesn't care for the teddies at all, but we had a look at some books. Last year, we've got this little Rudy book. It's really lovely, and there's a 3D pop-out in it as well. This year, when we went back to the library, Emma found this Husky Hero book that we bought to go along with the Rudy, what we already have at home. This one is very, very similar, and it's also got a 3D pop-out. So we've got a little book set now. Once we've seen everything in the village, we went to do some ice skating. And the ice skating has some Golden Experience perks as well. So your personal guide will go and get the skates for you. And she can also stay with your bags and coats and look after them. And she was also helping us put the skates on Emma. And she offered to take some videos of us when we were ice skating. And there are these little penguins available that the child can hold on to when they go onto ice skating. Lisa was also going to find one for us because there wasn't one available. And we went onto the ice with Emma. She did a little bit of ice skating last year. That was her first and only time. And this year we went onto the ice, and after about a minute or so, she just pushed the penguin away. And she just wanted to try and have a go without the penguin. I tried to hold her hand, but she even pushed me away. She just wanted to have a go by herself. She's done really, really well, and she didn't want to come off the ice. I think we were skating for over 20 minutes. So this is something that we're planning to do more in the future, especially now that it's winter. It was a really great opportunity to discover a new activity that Emma enjoys. We left the village around 4:15. If you have the time and you enjoyed the food you had for lunch, then don't be shy. Just have a sit down in the restaurant bit and just ask for a pizza, a burger or anything, and have a good meal before you go home. You're entitled to it. It's part of your experience. And also drinks as well. Anytime during the day you would like hot chocolate, some water. They've got soft drinks as well. Just ask your guide and they will be happy to help you. And the one thing I've seen someone mention, they weren't allowed to just walk up to the restaurant or the bakery or anything and ask for stuff for themselves. You actually need to ask your guide, and your guide need to go and get the food and drink for you. Otherwise, they would make you pay for it. Once we were ready to leave the village, our guide took us through the regular pathways, not hidden pathways. And there were a couple of photo opportunities that I believe we were supposed to be able to skip the queues. I don't know if our guide was just shy or didn't know, or I'm not sure what happened there, but she made us queue for everything else between the village and Father Christmas. So there's a photo opportunity on the bridge. There were like 5-6 families in front of us. The guide just held us behind, made us wait in the queue. And because I wasn't 100% sure about this situation, I didn't push that. There was like a Santa sleigh. There was a bit of a long queue there, and she wouldn't skip the queue for us. So we just left that. She did a lot for us and she did a great job. But I think we missed out on a few bits. This is something that you might want to clarify with your guide or someone from the member experience team, because, for example, the photo for the Father Christmas's sleigh, we had to skip that. We just couldn't put Emma through that long queue. Once we've got to the Reindeer Area, that was very different from last year. Last year, there was a private viewing area and they also had real reindeers. This year, they've got these animated ones. Last year, there was a private reindeer viewing area, which we couldn't make the best of because we've had to skip that due to Emma's sensory overload and she's had a meltdown. And this year, they didn't have this private area, so there was lots of pushing and shoving and we could barely get a view and it was difficult to get close. I'm not sure if there is a private reindeer area that we weren't shown this year or they just scrapped the whole thing. If anyone knows, just leave a comment. So the next stop was the Compass lobby. Our guide radioed ahead, tell them we were coming, but we still had to wait maybe 10-15 minutes in the Compass lobby with the other families. And I think this is because they record the Father Christmas experience, and I think there's only one Father Christmas cabin where they have the video recording set up for the Golden Experience. So once we were seated in the Compass lobby, our guide went to the end of the experience. She used this time to print the photos for us and get the book set, get our Bertie bear, and just wait for us towards the end of the experience. We've had another 5-minute wait outside Father Christmas's cabin. I think another family was inside just as we arrived. Once we went inside, Emma had a sit down with Father Christmas, and I'm really, really happy with how this Father Christmas acted with Emma. Our guide already let them know that Emma is not able to verbally express herself and she won't be able to have a conversation with Father Christmas, but it wasn't an issue at all. Father Christmas mentioned a lot of things to Emma and he was really kind. He spoke softly and slowly and he did his best to engage with Emma. He was trying to make jokes as well. And as I mentioned before, we were also given the Christmas bauble, and Father Christmas also gave us this rattle for Emma's baby cousin. We weren't expecting this little present, but it's very, very cute, and we're going to take it to Emma's cousin tomorrow when we're visiting them. Well done, Lapland UK. Father Christmas did really, really well communicating and engaging with an autistic child.
This is Father Christmas's good list. This is a list of all the children who've been good this year who are going to get presents at Christmas time. Do you think you've been good enough to be on my good list this year?
People are in the shops. You're gonna see the people in the shops when we finish here. Have you been good this year? Yeah? Are you good girl? Yeah? Yeah? And you're the list, yeah?
I have a little look for your name on my good list, and I can tell you, Emma, that you are on my good list.
I have to say, throughout the day, everyone did their very, very best to communicate with Emma. And even though she only spoke a handful of words and she wasn't able to have a conversation with anyone, still each of the actors were able to engage with Emma. So this is really, really positive. Once we came out of the cabin, we had to go through these pathways to get to the shop at the end. So this is Father Christmas's cabin, and then we just went to the farewell forest. So this is where the shop is located. If you need the toilet, the shop is your last opportunity. There are no toilets outside in the car park. I think the biggest takeaway of the day is the experience can be inconsistent and you need to advocate for yourself. And you need to make sure that any issues are rectified on the day, because unfortunately the customer service online is a hit and miss. It is what it is. If you need a minute to go through everything, check all the bags, make sure you received everything you were supposed to, just ask the guide to have a little look in the shop with your child. But also, if you're not Golden Experience, don't worry, there are elves and staff members in the shops. If you ask someone, please, can you just occupy my child a little bit. I also read some reviews that people didn't get the Bertie bear and they couldn't speak up about it because they took the child with them to get the photos, and they're saying like, I'm a single parent, what can I do? What can you do is advocate for yourself. It's difficult. I went by myself with Emma last year. This year we had her dad come with us, but last year I went by myself as well. And even if you're not a Golden Experience, you don't have to be Golden Experience. You speak to a member of staff in that last shop and someone is going to be very happy to occupy your child until you sort the photos and you make sure that you got your Bertie back. Once you left the experience, it is a lot harder to rectify the issues. The Golden Experience starts from £299 each and it goes all the way up to £599 each, depending on the day and time of your visit. Usually you can get tickets at the lower end of the price range in weekdays in November, but the weekends can be more expensive in November as well. So we went on the last week of November on a weekday and it was $299 each. But the good thing is that there is such a thing as a personal assistant ticket, which is 50% off. So because Emma has a blue badge, we were able to apply for a personal assistance ticket. A little known fact that the personal experience ticket can be bought for the Golden Experience as well. And you don't have to have another adult in your party. So last year, I just went to the Golden Experience with Emma myself, and I paid $299 for Emma and £150 for myself. This year, we took her dad as well, but we only got one personal assistance ticket. If you're looking at value for money, £299 is a lot of money for a couple of hours experience. But I think it's just about justifiable for this experience. But £599 each would be way out of my budget. If you think about it, you get a lot of presents included and all the food and drink included. So I think lower price range, especially with a personal assistant ticket, you actually get really good value for money. But you need to keep in mind that the customer service is a big hit and miss, and it can be really stressful. Some people got really quick replies and had their issues sorted promptly. For us, it took LaplandUK weeks to reply. And honestly, I've really tried to get that golden leaf for Emma. I've been emailing for weeks, had a couple of copy-paste replies that didn't address my issue. And in the end, they sent me an email a couple of days before our visit. They said they would chase up the upgraded invitation pack and we would receive it before our visit, but this never happened. Maybe they'd taken on a bit too much with the two sites. I feel that the experience is magical and there's nothing like this in the whole country. Still, LaplandUK should do a bit better. I think definitely one point they need to reflect on is their customer service. And this is why I mention it again and again and again, how important it is to advocate for yourself and try to rectify whatever is possible on the day of your visit. So just make sure that you advocate yourself in a respectful and kind and polite manner on the day of your visit, and make sure that you know what you're supposed to receive and you're going to receive it on the day. The experience was magical. Emma's had a really, really brilliant day. Lisa did her utmost best to make it the best day ever for Emma. All in all, I would recommend visiting LaplandUK, and I would recommend the Golden Experience at the lower price range. It is brilliant and it can be good value for money if you advocate for yourself. We've had an amazing day. Lisa even walked us all the way back to the car park and helped us with the bags and everything. And it was brilliant. I don't regret anything. How was your experience with LaplandUK and the Golden Experience? Did you get everything included? Did you have some missing bits? Were there any parts of the experience that were different for you than for us? I would love to know. Please leave a comment. If you'd like to see where we stayed the night before our LaplandUK trip, our full accessibility and SEN review of the Legoland Windsor Resort Hotel is on screen now and linked in the description below. And if you find videos like this helpful, consider subscribing for more SEN-focused family content.